Hello, folks, and welcome to today's LinkedIn Live. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. So today we're going to be talking about why a skills-based talent strategy could be the key to workforce resilience. I am Ben Slater, SVP of Marketing here at Beamery, and delighted to have you here this Wednesday to dig deep. So let's get started. In the wake of recent banking failures, now more than ever, economic headwinds are dominating the headlines. And the workforce and business leaders are rightly concerned about the changing demands of the financial situation. But to paraphrase Charles Dickens' Tale of Two Cities, and look, I'm a Brit, right? So this book was certainly part of my childhood. It is a tale of two talent economies that we have, and there are some pretty striking contrasts, as you can see with the data ahead of you. In January, we actually had the highest month in terms of layoffs for 14 years, but US unemployment remains at a 50-year low. There are roughly 2 jobs for every person looking for work in the US. Now, that's pretty stark as a difference. So what's happening in the US labor market? The reality is we're seeing fewer people enter the workforce than expected, and there are, of course, a number of other factors to consider. We have a rapidly aging US population. We have folks leaving the workforce earlier than anticipated, based on changing lifestyles during the COVID period. We have a lasting and perhaps extending job and skill mismatch. And we also have workers reevaluating, what they want out of work and what they expect from a job. So to quote McKinsey, none of these will be easily or quickly resolved, but they are knowable, and business leaders can and need to change their equation or their approach to the talent equation. So our research certainly supports this. We can see that companies, and in particular business executives, see significant downside when it comes to talent and specifically skill shortage. The reality is that jobs are changing faster than ever, and the skills that you need as a business are very different today from even 1 to 2 years ago. I read some really interesting research yesterday about the rapidly accelerating half-life of a skill, how quickly a skill becomes outdated, and that's faster than ever. So our focus around skill and talent transformation, has never been more important. Now, we can see that these concerns from executives are pretty valid. It isn't just workforce composition that is at risk based on skill shortages. It's also a significant number of potential impacts both to revenue and obviously higher cost as well. Not having the right people in the right role is significantly impacting business agility, execution, and performance. So pretty broad range of business specific outcomes. But is there hope, right? Is the answer lying in plain sight? What we see, working with our client base, is that many highly skilled candidates get filtered out because they lack the exact criteria on the job description. And this is really one of the primary issues with job-centric hiring versus skill-centric hiring. And it's a significant problem, right? Because in light of what we've already shared in terms of the disparity between available candidates and open roles, and in light of the structural changes to the economy, it is critical for organizations to really be able to understand and tap into these pools of hidden talent and identify candidates with the right skills for their roles, not just the ones that seem like a good match from a job title standpoint. And I love this image, right? Because it really helps to articulate everything that exists below the surface when we think about disaggregating a job into a set of skills. You see, on LinkedIn, someone's title, right? But really, their success in a role is made up of, a huge number of different capabilities that they've built up, both from, their work and their experience, their interactions with other departments. And if we're able to disaggregate and see under the surface and unpack, you know, the skills that are actually needed for a role, if we're able to shine a light on what is possible and to understand what skills someone has today, but also the skills they might be able to learn, we should go a long way to being able to close some of those talent gaps, both with internal employees who are able to learn and develop, but also with candidates who we might have not considered. You know, we'll be able to hire for potential versus just where candidates are today. Now, becoming a skills-first company doesn't happen overnight. It is a potentially daunting process. And look, the key as with any transformation is to break it down into clear steps and milestones, right? So it all starts with your current architecture, how you think about jobs and skills internally, an evaluation of what you actually need, right, in terms of new skills into your business and what you have today, and then of course where those skills actually exist, right? How easy is it going to be for you to go out and hire those people? So yeah, it can certainly be daunting, but breaking it down into specific milestones and having a really clear plan of, you know, where you are today and where you want to end up can be very helpful. Now, the challenge to starting is, how do you know what you have, right? And I think this is certainly not a product pitch, but this is certainly one of the areas where Beamery can support in terms of creating a single common language for the skills you have in your company. So you have visibility as to your total talent skill pool, be they candidates, employees, or alumni, and being able to see all that information in one place and up to date. This is really crucial, right? Because if you start with those insights, you're really able to think about, okay, where do I build talent by growing internal resource? Where do I borrow in terms of hiring contract labor? And, you know, where does it make sense for me to go out and recruit or, you know, buy new workers? This skills language is critical. And I think if you haven't figured out, you know, what you have today and what you're missing, that's certainly a first step in your journey to being skills first. And look, if we take a step back, there are a lot of benefits, many of which I'm sure you've heard about or you've talked about internally, around how a skills-based approach can impact at every stage of the talent lifecycle, really. And it's really a broad number. So it's everything from increasing equity of decision making to helping you hire for potential to more effective career pathing and employee engagement. You know, your ability to change the skill composition of your workforce starts with understanding what you have, and then being able to go out and strategically fill those gaps and make sure you have the right workers in the right place at the right time. You know, you'll be pleased to know that it can also have pretty significant impacts on revenue and efficiency. Everything from lowering recruiting costs. You know, you're able to quickly identify people that maybe are able to grow into the role, or you'll be able to identify them faster. Increasing productivity by making sure you have the right skills in the right place across your enterprise, and you're able to flexibly and, you know, in an agile way deploy that talent, and obviously helping you seize market opportunities by you know, ensuring that you have the skills you need to compete. So, you know, the proof is certainly in the pudding, in the sense that there's a lot of advantages to investing in this approach. But look, getting started can be challenging. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. It's probably easier to search my name versus remember that URL string, or just drop me a note at ben@beamery.com. We're obviously interested in learning more about what we do at Beamery. Feel free to head over to the website. But look, really appreciate everyone for joining today. If you have any questions about, you know, what it means to be skills centric or how you take the first steps, let us know. But otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday.